my show and tell my Emrakul. This is good, right?
Boom. Yeah, like turn 1, 15-15.
Yeah, I think Vendilion Click tends to be bad against engine combo decks, but against like these A plus B combo decks, Vendilion Click's really good. When you see both halves of it, you leave them with 2 A's instead, and suddenly their deck's just, the double show and tell no monster hand doesn't even do anything.
That definitely does make a lot of sense, because lots of times if you Vendilion Click your elf opponent, you might take 1 elf and then he just draws into another elf.
Yeah, you take their Heritage Druid and then they draw a Wirewood Symbiote, and you're like, well, I guess I did something. I'm not even sure if it's good.
Yeah, because all their combo pieces are pretty good, right?
Right. So something like Storm, right? You take away a Ritual and they draw a Ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
But the A plus B combo deck is definitely a lot better, So this is good. All right. So let's see what happens here. I'm excited to watch this match for sure.
I say, well, especially Jared Boettcher has been on such a hot streak with the Sneak and Show deck.
All right, so let's see what happens. Yeah, Jared actually is Sneak and Show. We're gonna adjust that for you right there. And they're doing a lot of shuffling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an important match,
Yeah, they really.
But I was really impressed with Jared playing. When we've seen him play, through the Swiss day, he very commandingly went undefeated through the Swiss. Had a quick, had a very quick top 8 match.
Yeah, definitely.
He made short work of it. Gonna see, when someone has to step up at some point,
Of course.
And I want to see if it's Robert Vaughan this round.
Okay, good. All right, so let's see. They should be getting underway momentarily. They're doing a lot of shuffling and a lot of studying of each other's decks.
Yeah, and well, especially I think from the Esper side, you want to know if there are anything unusual, I suppose, in the combo deck.
Yeah, maybe
I mean,
anything you just forgot about.
Yeah, I mean, both sides in this matchup, there's like some cards that really, really matter and other cards that don't.
Okay.
And so like if there's something new in the equation, something that's not normally there when you maybe play tested this matchup, you really want to be aware of it.
Exactly. All right, so Robert will be on the play here. They wish each other good luck. And let's see, Jared's hoping just for, a really fast win here. Let's see if he can pull it off. This is the top 4.
All right, so we see Robert's opening hand has a lot of equipment in it. That's a little less than desired. This is a hand that I don't think he's going to be able to keep. It's got 2 lands, swords.
Yeah, he probably should mulligan this. Even though he has a Brainstorm, I think he should just mulligan this hand.
Swords,
the Swords to
Brainstorm,
Plowshare,
Jace, equipment.
Yeah, the Swords to Plowshare is already a mulligan unless he could actually get a fetch land and shuffle it away.
Yeah,
but
it's in some matchups, this is an acceptable hand, but against a
yeah,
known Sneak
it's
and Show
definitely not.
opponent,
And
has a second sword.
And he has to be careful because that Brainstorm could either lock him or Jared could just Spell Pierce it.
All right, so he draws Vendilion Click, Liliana of the Veil.
All right, he's locked.
He's
Yep.
locked. I don't.
Honestly,
this is the game almost.
Well, almost. It's going to be really, really tough for Robert to win this game, and it's because he really kept a risky hand.
Yeah, I think if one of those lands is a fetch land, it's closer to being a keep.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that Jared didn't Spell Pierce that Brainstorm, to be honest. I mean, he did have Ponder in his hand, and instead he decided to leave up Spell Pierce / Brainstorm, but didn't decide to. I think stopping Brainstorm is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't. Let's see. So yeah, he does have a Pierce there.
I mean, Jared has a great hand.
Yeah, Jared's hand's all card selection and Force of Wills,
which is good.
It's excellent.
Yeah. Especially now that Robert's just going to say, draw go for 2 turns in a row.
I mean, this is going to be pretty rough. Jared will get to catch a glimpse of what his opponent's playing with this Jataxian Pro when he decides to use it. Remember that between all these fetch lands and ponder effects, Jared he's almost going to be tutoring here.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Pretty much close as a, demonic tutor as possible. So now that Scolding Tarn will go fetch up that Volcanic Island.
All right. And this is on end step that this is happening. So he's going to get to untap and get a fresh draw.
Exactly. I'm excited to see what Jared's going to draw. No, Jared doesn't have to rush anything, right?
Because I mean, the thing is he'll get information. The Jackson Pro will let him know he doesn't have to rush.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to see here. All right, Jared, on the untap, he gets a new draw. It's going to be a mountain. Lands are pretty welcome here. Obviously, he'd prefer them to be fetch lands, but lands just in general are pretty good. I think if I were him, he's going to start off with a Ponder.
There is a Ponder. So let's see. Grizzlebrand, Emrakul.
That is a lot of monsters, maybe too many.
Yeah, but...
So if he has a show and tell, this is too many monsters. If he has a sneak attack, 2 monsters is okay.
If he has another Ponder, it's just right because you could draw 1 and ponder. Oh, he has Intuition. Okay, so this actually works out.
This
Really
is
good.
fine. So
Yeah.
he decided to take an Emrakul.
Yeah, yeah, which is definitely correct here. And Robert's just going to play a Snapcaster Mage, attack for 2. Not going to do much here at
Robert's doing
all.
nothing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so going to be
And,
rough.
I mean, I think Jared is going to know that the coast is going to be clear in a turn.
Right.
I think on upkeep he should maybe Intuition here, maybe not. We'll see what happens. He's just going to draw the Grizzlebrand, and I guess we'll just pass the turn. He could play it safe here. We'll find out momentarily. I mean, it's only been 3 minutes so far, and Robert's got to be feeling like, hey, you know, these past 3 minutes, should I have mulliganed? Should I have mulliganed?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have some time to think about that one.
Oh
There's
no, a
Mystic.
Stoneforge
I mean,
Mystic.
this is, yeah, and he knows. You know, he played a 2-1 for 2 and nothing.
Yeah,
else this
exactly.
Game. It's, you know, that's hard pressed to beat any deck with that.
I believe he has the discard, but before the discard step,
Yep.
it looks like there's an Intuition.
Or actually, Boettcher does have to do this before he sees what Robert does.
Exactly, yeah. That's how it works. Probably show and tell, show and tell, show and tell. Maybe sneak attack, sneak attack,
Yeah,
sneak attack. Yeah, it is sneak attack.
It is triple sneak attack.
Exactly.
This is great because
Because he has Grizzlebrand. He has Grizzlebrand and he has Emrakul. So he could just go Emrakul first. And, yeah, exactly. And then he could go Grizzlebrand, and that will probably be it.
Now, if you're Jarrett, you probably assume you're playing around some Spell Pierces and Force of Wills here.
Yeah, probably.
He's going to get to start with a Jataxian Probe and suddenly realize, oh, hey, wait a second.
Yeah,
I'm playing around.
I'm good.
Oh, hey, I'm good. I got this.
Yeah, thanks, Jataxian Probe.
I'm actually a big advocate of playing Jataxian Probe in Legacy.
Okay.
I think it's very underrated in combo decks.
Sure. All right, there is another Ancient Tomb, so Jared's life total doesn't really matter here.
Yeah, I think before you play the Tomb, you actually just lead out on the
I think so
Jataxian
too,
Probe
yeah.
here. Like, this is the turn. You have so much counter magic. You have all the pieces.
Because Jared actually just wants a second red. He doesn't really want the other
if you draw
colorless
the
land.
mountain, you want... Like, if he draws a mountain here, he'd rather make the mountain.
Yeah. So I think Jared just wants to play it extra cautiously. He's thinking, is there any way that I could really lose this game? And sure, there's a chance.
And now he sees, oh, hey,
Yeah.
this is nothing.
Maybe a chuckle from Jared also. We'll see.
Oh, I see.
All right.
I'm going to Emrakul you now.
Yeah. Sword of Fire Ice, Stoneforge Mystic, Batter Skull, Swords to Plowshare. I mean, a bunch of nice cards if it was a trade binder. You know, if that was Robert's trade binder, you'd be like, all right, pretty good. But unfortunately, that's Robert's hand, and he cannot cast anything quite yet. Jared draws another Jataxian Probe.
Sure, let's up the storm count by 1, shall we?
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Why is Jared?
I think he's going to start by just playing a sneak attack, then playing Gristlebrand, then drawing 7, seeing if he can draw into a Petal, then pedaling Emrakul into play and winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could just go sneak attack, Emrakul, destroy everything.
Just call it a day.
Next turn, Grizzlebrand. So, sure.
The other play I guess I said is just flashier, but really unnecessary.
It really is unnecessary. Just play the Emrakul, destroy all his lands, and that's it. I think Jared might want to try to win on camera in this one turn, but
okay,
Robert scooped in. All right.
So game that never really got started there, and once again, Jared Boettcher is up a game.
Yeah. All right, and I actually thought Jared would win this match, so we'll see what happens.
The kiss of death.
It might be. All right, so we're going to bring it back to us momentarily, and we're going to have a question for you guys. And now this is 6 months of premium, and it's also...
There are progressively harder questions.
You know, you going to sleep tonight knowing that you are a champion. You're an SCG Live questionnaire quiz champion.
All right.
That's good.
So this one is for 6 months of Star City Premium. We're going to ask a question about one of our top 4 deck lists. This is about not Jared Boettcher's deck list. We're talking about Robert Vaughan's deck list. We're asking you to name what 3 Planeswalkers is Robert Vaughan running in his Esper Stoneblade deck.
And one of the Planeswalkers
you might not expect.
Yeah, you don't really expect it anymore.
I'll give you a hint. They're all double color and they're all different colors.
All right, and the one you don't expect just got reprinted with a different name.
Yeah. So now, if you don't know necessarily, you can. We do have a deck database, which you can look up stuff on.
Yeah.
So
or if you've been watching a lot, you might have saw them all.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's the question. Tweet at SCG Live.
Make sure you have that hashtag SCG Premium. You see it right beneath our logo there.
All right. So what Planeswalkers are Robert Vaughan playing? We don't need the numbers. We don't need 3 of this, 2 of this, 1 of that.
Just what are their names? All 3
exactly. Do you think these 3 Planeswalkers are all friends? in like the Planeswalker universe?
No, I do
No?
not. I think 2 of them are friends, but I don't think they like the 3rd one.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested to hear which one do you think they don't like.
I only know my story so well. I try to keep up on it.
You
Yeah.
do try to give up? Okay. All right, so Robert pretty much got crushed that game based on the fact that he kept a risky hand. But we could say, hey, Robert goes back in time, he keeps that hand again, all of a sudden he draws into a Fluttershy hand, he kind of looks like a genius, right?
The hand certainly works out well. I mean, it's still a little light on disruption, right?
Yeah.
It has the Vendilion Click, but it didn't even have it. I think he drew the Vendilion Click.
Yeah, he had Liliana out there. It might have been, yeah.
Liliana's good, but actually Liliana is, in my opinion, a little slow against Sneak and Show because, and this is, I'm going to go back, okay, I'm going to go back to combo deck theorizing. All right.
Sure, let me know.
All right, so against engine combo decks,
Yep.
Things like Liliana or things that are generic discard tend to be really well. However, against A plus B style combo decks, you need to have targeted removal.
Okay.
Thoughtseize is bad against Storm because you see their hand and it's a bunch of rituals.
Exactly.
Thoughtseize is great against, Splinter Twin, for example.
Yeah.
It's just 2 pieces. And the reverse is true, Mind Rot is good against Storm because all their cards are the same. You get 2 of them. Mind Rot sometimes isn't good against Splinter Twin because sometimes they just have like an extra Splinter Twin and a land, and they discard 2 things like, well, I still have my combo.
Yeah.
So Liliana plussing, I don't really think is that big of a threat for Jared.
Okay.
Obviously, if he lets him do it 3 times in a row, then it becomes relevant. But now we're talking about like turn 5.
Exactly.
Any good combo deck should be able to win by then.
Yeah, okay, so it looks like Robert could bring in the 1 Duress, the extra Force Will, 2 Flusterstorms, the Humility, the 2 Tide Howler Scullers, and the Notion Thief. Can you imagine if Jared goes Grizzlebrand, I'll draw 7, and Robert plays a Notion Thief?
Yeah,
that'd be nice,
that would
right?
That would, he'd win.
Yeah.
Is it for, oh boy. He can do it for Brainstorm too.
Yeah, and Notion Thief is also a blue card, so he could always just pitch it to Force Will if it's going to be like uncastable.
Is this going to be a thing? You think he's going to board in the Notion Thief?
A lot of people have been playing like 1 Notion Thief in their sideboard just to try to get your opponent.
All right, let's start with the cards we really like. Okay, so Duress,
yes.
Humility,
Force of Will.
Flusterstorm.
Flusterstorm,
Maybe not Flusterstorm, yeah. Force of Will. So
Force of Will, Flusterstorm is excellent, and so is Tide Howler Sculler.
All right, so that's 7 cards already.
Yeah.
Does he want the 8th card for Notion Thief? If
Yeah,
he has 8
I think
dead
he does.
cards.
Yeah, he probably wants to trim some of the equipment. Swords to Plowshare is not going
All
to do
of
too much
them,
here.
yeah.
And even taking out like the Stoneforge, like trimming the Stoneforge Mystics, taking out the Elspeth in his deck.
Yeah, I think some of his Planeswalkers aren't particularly good here.
Yeah, it's just kind of slow and stuff. Elspeth's really good in the more of like the junk mid range matchups or more like grindy type decks.
Yeah, I don't think you ever want to tap out for 4 mana unless it says win the game.
Exactly. So,
Right.
and we actually just give away one of our answers because that's one of the
Shh, you're not supposed to point that
Planeswalkers.
out. You're not
Well, we
supposed
have
to-
to
I
point it
noticed
out.
that. I noticed that you did it. I was saying
Yeah,
you're
I
supposed to
noticed
keep it
it
on the
before I
DL.
said it. Well, I think a lot of people might not be able to get this one. So
All right. So now you have a clue.
now you have a clue. All right, but honestly, which one doesn't like the other one? Is it Elspeth? Do people not like Elspeth? Is that the storyline?
No. Elspeth's fine. Elspeth's a good guy.
fine.
Elspeth's
Okay.
a good guy.
Who's Elspeth friends with? I really want to know.
Well, Elspeth, oh man, what is it? I don't remember where she's originally from. She spent a lot of time on Bant, and then she left Bant. I think out some feeling of guilt, I
Really?
believe. And then she was gonna go to
All right,
Mirrodin,
enough
but then
with
but
these
then this
stories.
plague started, and then she bolted from Mirrodin, and now she's on Theros.
All right, well, what's Jared going to bring in? Enough with these stories. What's Jared's main goal here? Is he going to bring in the Blood Moons? Robert does have 4 basic lands.
Yeah, I think you only want to really bring in Blood Moon against decks where Blood Moon reads I win. I don't
Okay.
think that's this.
Okay, so do you think he wants to bring in the Swan Songs?
Sure.
Swan
I think Swan
Song,
Songs. I think all the
Flusterstorm,
red blasts.
Red Blast?
Bloodbath
maybe,
Singular.
Yeah, like maybe Divert? Divert's not going to...
I gotta think Diverts for the decks more like the Shardless Bug
With
we saw.
Heptatorok?
Yeah,
Heptatorok, Thoughtseize, whatnot?
You need a critical mass of things that are good to divert, and I don't know if there's enough of them.
Okay, because Swan Song is just strictly better than Divert in this matchup. Is that what you're saying?
Well, diverting is what divert redirects it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Divert's essentially like a misdirection.
Right, so divert's really nice because it gets extra value and it works, but I think the extra value doesn't matter as much. It's just you want to make sure that your spells hit, that they
Exactly,
do something.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think Swan Song does
Yeah, I think
something.
Swan Song is better, and I do really like the card Swan Song. It's just really cool, and I love birds in general.
Yeah,
And
it's
you make a
negates,
2/2
right?
bird. Yeah,
You just can't
essentially.
counter walkers.
Yeah,
Well,
it can't counter planeswalkers, and artifacts.
and artifacts.
But other than, I mean, it's just 1 mana. 1 mana is so good in Legacy.
Yeah,
That's what I think a lot of people, might be missing here.
The jump from 1 to 2 is, the second biggest mana jump in Magic. It's just one,
Yeah, it is.
0
It's
to 1
double,
being the biggest one.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so both players present their deck. Robert cuts. Jared's doing some shuffling here. Robert will be on the play. We saw Robert keep a hand that was risky. Didn't work out for him. That happens sometimes. Let's see if Robert gets a better draw here, and then we'll go on to a 30 game possibly. The other guys are still playing. I believe they're still in the first game.
Ooh,
So if
yes.
it is still in the first game, we'll be able to watch that match too. Possibly, we'll see what happens.
All right, but this is game 2, Jared Boettcher versus Robert Vaughan. We saw both of them win in top 8. Jared Boettcher in commanding fashion, Robert Vaughan squeaking one out. Looks like he's going to have to...
Pretty good hand.
He has a good hand.
Yeah.
He's going to have to battle again.
All right, so Jared's going to mulligan this time. So Jared's going to 6. Probably didn't like his hand. Maybe not enough lands. Maybe not enough action. Whatever the case may be. Regardless, he's on the draw, so mulliganing isn't the worst here. Plus, Robert most likely isn't going to come out that fast. His fastest draw is essentially a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic. Other than that, it just is a turn 3 True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, Robert's draws aren't fast. It's...
Yeah.
I think the difficulty in this matchup from Robert's side is that because almost all of his disruption is reactive, he just has to stop Jared, he has to leave up a huge amount of mana.
That's fair.
It's like early in the game, he's going to need to leave up a Spell Pierce. As the game goes on, he's going to have to start leaving up 2 spells, maybe 3 spells. If he doesn't get an early threat down, then you can't leave up mana and make a threat, which is why a card like Stoneforge Mystic is still pretty good for Robert in the matchup, because he can tap out for Stoneforge Mystic and then never tap out again.
Okay, so Jared's 6-card hand looks a
It's got
little
some
better.
pieces. It's got not enough lands, but it's got some combo pieces, so
Yeah,
sure,
it's
let's roll.
fine. Let's see if Jared draws a land. He draws a Show and Tell, which is fine.
Yeah,
obviously he wants land instead, but...
Yep, he does have a Brainstorm in there, so he's going to not cast it right away. He's going to hope that he can draw a regular land.
He's definitely going to wait for the Brainstorm, at least another turn. Oh, a Ponder. That's really good.
Yeah.
He'll lead off with a Ponder for sure.
Yeah, whereas you can get Brainstorm locked, you cannot get Ponder locked. He's probably going to start there. Robert Vaughan started creeping Tarpit into Tundra, making no plays as of yet. If you look at his hand, it's pretty disruptive. He has a pair of Spell Pierces at the ready.
Do you think Robert's going to Spell Pierce his Ponder or not? It's close, right?
That is it depends what the rest of his hand is.
Yeah. Because, sometimes disrupting the card filtering is really important. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, so if I'm a combo player, by the way, I always, unless their deck plays Daze, I would always Ponder like this without making my second land drop because it baits a Spell Pierce. So like, oh, maybe he has no more land, so I have to Spell Pierce.
Yeah.
It gives the mystery of how bad do I need this.
Exactly. All right, so here is a Ponder. Let's see what Robert wants to do here.
In this case, it's natural. He actually just really needs this Ponder.
Yeah, he might spell. He also has a Flusterstorm in his
He has a lot
hand.
of counter spells. Pierce, Flusterstorm.
Yeah, no, I don't think you want a Flusterstorm, man. Flusterstorm is one of the better ones, right?
Well, yeah, it can't counter sneak
Sneak and
attack.
show. Yeah.
So maybe when you have a certain critical mass of counter spells, I think you want to start saving them for specific cards.
Sure. So there is
Scholar, Thoughtseize, Liliana.
No land, right?
No land, but he can disrupt Jared's hand into next week.
Yeah. So two land hands for Robert didn't really pan off.
Yeah.
He even brainstormed both times.
Yeah.
So definitely a bit land-light.
So he's going to be locked again from the Brainstorms, but it's not that bad this time.
This time it's not that bad because he has Thoughtseize and he's going to go Thoughtseize into Tidehauler Sculler, and Jared just doesn't have any lands.
Yeah, so Brainstorm, Intuition, Force of Will, Spell Pierce, Sneak Attack, Show and Tell. He has all the enablers, but just not much, just lands when he needs. I think here you honestly take the Brainstorm because Robert knows that he's not going to be able to put a threat on the board for a long time.
Yeah, I think so too. Sometimes you could maybe bank on, I hope my opponent Brainstorm locks himself, but who's to say that Jared's actually going to play the Brainstorm? I think you take the Brainstorm as well. Maybe I don't think the Force will. It's got to be the Brainstorm here. We'll see what Robert decides to do. He is definitely in the tank on this. And again, Robert with Creeping Tarpit and Tundra, and his next 2 draw steps are not going to be lands, and it's not going to be a card that's going to be able to shuffle his library around.
Right.
All right, so he takes the Show and Tell. All right.
A
little surprising.
Well, what that does say is, if he takes the Show and Tell, in order for Jared to get to the win, he has to build up to 4 mana.
Okay.
I still agree that I like taking. I think Brainstorm is just like the clear card you need to take.
Maybe not. We'll see what happens. There is the
Spell
brainstorm.
Pierce, Volcanic Island,
Oh,
Pyroclasm.
Pyroclasm. Okay,
So-
the Pyroclasm is going to be pretty cool because Robert actually has a Tide Howler Sculler.
Right. Normally, Jared would just like ship away the Pyroclasm if he had a fetch land. But the
Yeah.
funny part is that Jared doesn't have a fetch land,
Yeah.
so he's gonna have to redraw the Pyroclasm. But it's not. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's actually going to be pretty good here.
Well, it's funny because if the it just doesn't matter. If the Pyroclasm was in his hand, then Robert would be forced to take the Pyroclasm
Exactly.
with the Sculler. But actually,
And the
he's gonna
Tide
get
Howler
full
Sculler
value.
would stay in play, but here it's not going to stay in play.
Exactly.
And assuming Robert plays the Tide Howler Sculler, which I think he should, and he does.
Yep. So he gets to see what all the cards that Jared drew there. We see
Spell
Another
Pierce,
Pierce, yep.
Sneak Attack, Force of Will, and Intuition. He probably wants to take the Intuition here. Because in theory, that's the card that he could draw, that he could actually
So,
cast next turn.
Yeah, the difference is if there's only one Spell Pierce, I would say take Spell Pierce so that
Oh, he takes
Liliana
a
can resolve.
Sneak
Yeah,
Attack.
he's just taking the combo pieces right now.
I
you
feel
know,
like I keep calling you Sneak and Show, but it's actually just Sneak
Sneak
Attack.
Attack. Sneak and shows the deck.
I know, exactly, yeah.
So yeah, he took the Show and Tell and the Sneak Attack. I really just think he's taking combo pieces. That's,
Okay, yeah,
that is
that's fine.
certainly a way to play the matchup. To be like, yeah, I'm just making you find more copies and more copies and more copies.
Okay, so Jarrett will draw. Here's the Pyroclasm.
Here's the Pyroclasm. Whoa.
Remember, Robert still has those double Spell Pierces
Yeah, so
in his hand.
he can pierce here. I don't know. I mean, I actually think he's going to have to pierce.
Yeah,
on the Pyroclasm.
I'm pretty sure Jarrett's going to go for it this turn.
I mean, he's going to get pierced back,
Yeah.
to be fair. And
Yeah.
then they can get into a big fight because they can all pierce and pierce and pierce. And
Now, if Robert doesn't draw a land here, it's going to be like pretty bad for him, you know?
yeah, he
He's
needs
been
to start,
stuck
he
on
needs to
two
start
for a
plussing
while.
Liliana at some point here.
I mean, Jarrett actually has more lands than Robert now.
Well, yeah, that's why you almost want to say you had to take the brainstorm, but
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, there's some arguments both ways because the brainstorm didn't actually dig. It ended up just being draw one card
Yeah. And
because Jared had got locked by it. He just had to
Exactly.
redraw all the same cards.
yeah, I think Jarrett's happy with this this board state right now. Oh, he does draw a Scrub land. That's going to help a lot here.
That's very big, especially because Jared has tapped out, so that other
And he
spell
has
pierce in his hand.
Snapcaster.
Yeah, so Jared is gonna have to decide whether or not he wants to force
I-
of will this.
Yeah, I
He's gonna
think he has to
Snapcast.
force the will. This.
He's gonna Snapcast the Thoughtseize, not make Liliana.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you
yeah.
have to still force of will the Snapcaster.
I think he has to. Otherwise, that Thoughtseize is going to strip apart Jarrett's hand, and it's going to be more of a clock, right?
Yeah, four is the number you need. After this point, Jared can just sit back with untapped mana.
Yeah. Now, Jarrett was liking his position, but Robert did draw land, and now all of a sudden, I think Robert's the favorite.
Yep, I would agree.
All right, so Jarrett's thinking about this, looking at life totals, looking at graveyards. He's going in the tank here. So far, 20 minutes has gone by, and they're, kind of halfway through the second game. So we
Right.
might be expecting like a 40-minute match here, maybe quicker, you don't know. So he does go with the Force of Will, and Robert's going to pass the turn. Jarrett will draw here. Not sure what it is, but just ships the turn back. Oh, it's an Emrakul. Oh, is it Emrakul?
I'm not sure. I
think it is.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't. So if he can somehow get back one of those combo pieces, he'll be fine.
Yeah. So did Robert just ship the turn?
Remember, there's an intuition in Jared's hand, which we knew about.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That intuition is going to happen here.
Do you think he's got an intuition for show and tell, show and tell, show and tell?
Yes, and then I think Robert's going to Vendilion click him.
Does Robert actually have an? Oh, he does.
Yeah,
have
he does.
a
I think he's going to wait, let the
That-
intuition
yeah.
resolve, and then click him.
Yeah, that's why he should. I mean, he might not even do that because he wants. Well, he doesn't know that Jared only has an Emrakul
Well,
and not a
if
Grizzlebrand.
he finds show and tells, he can wait until show and tells on the stack and then click him.
Yeah,
He
but
can be like show and tell. Yeah, that's fine.
well, the whole thing is that Robert actually has Liliana in his hand, so Liliana is a really good answer to a show and tell Emrakul.
show and tell, Pyroclasm.
Okay.
It's very rare that you get cards with different names with intuition.
Yeah, I think the reason here is that there's already a show and tell in Jared's graveyard, and he's worried about not being able to reshuffle those show and tells back into his library from like an Emrakul, for
Yeah.
example.
Well, Pyroclasm is close to being a show and tell here. Pyroclasm is like having a sneak attack.
Yeah, exactly. And sneak attack is actually a lot better for Jared than show and tell.
Yeah, because he doesn't know about the V click.
Yeah,
And he got a
well, he
show
doesn't
and
know about the
tell.
Liliana either.
So, yeah, he did.
Oh, so there's a Vidalian
Oh
click
man,
on
so
draw
I
step.
would say, okay, do you like that, or would you let him cast show and tell and then clicked him?
Yeah, I mean that might have been better. But
Right? Because then you take his Emrakul, and what's he's gonna bring a Lotus Petal to show and tell?
I mean, regardless, even if Jared were to draw another show and tell here, he would still, be in trouble because Robert has a Liliana of the Veil waiting
Right.
in his hand.
so Lotus Petal from Jarrett, and now a 3-turn clock.
Chase
from
the
Robert
Mind Sculptor
Vaughan.
#2 cannot cast that yet.
Puts Jarrett down to 7. And I think, yep, Liliana
Liliana.
of the Veil. It's gonna plus. It's gonna get rid of a probably Force of Will.
Well, no, I think yeah,
Yeah, probably not the Emrakul.
yeah. Either way,
Well,
it's,
yeah, you're right, because the Liliana just answers the
yeah. So I
Emrakul.
mean, at least if he discards the Emrakul, he gets to shuffle his graveyard. But
Then,
regardless,
yeah,
he
there's
just
actually
scoops.
no way for him to win from
Yeah,
there because he'd need a 5th land and a sneak attack, and that's 2 cards, and Liliana won't let him have 2 cards.
exactly. Yep. And it even could have been lethal next turn if Robert just because Jarrett was on 7, and if Robert just drew a land, he could have activated Creeping Tar Pit and attacked for 8 damage. 3 from the click, 3 from the Creeping Tar Pit, 2 from the $10 Scholar. So
Right.
they're in a game 3. We're gonna try to get an update from our back match. All right, they could still be in game 1. We still kind of see them playing in the background. A lot of people watching. It's pretty late here. The over 1,000 people who were here is now down to maybe about 20 people left.
Yep. On the other side, we have Alex Bertoncini up 1 game right now
Okay.
over Elijah Herr. Remember, Alex is running Esper Deathblade. Elijah's
Against
running Death and
Death
Taxes.
and Taxes, yeah. All right, so this is the final game. They're going to look through their sideboard. Are they going to make any small changes? Again, it switches. Jarrett's on the play now. Jarrett on the play with Sneak and Show. He knows the deck very well. Let's take a look at the sideboard one more time. Grafdigger's Cage. Sure, Robert does have Snapcaster Mage, but not really why that's in the sideboard. More for Dredge, I would say. Sulfur Elemental, no, that's for Death and Taxes. Blood Moon, Divert, Flusterstorm, Red Elemental Blast, Swan Song, Through the Breach, and of course those 2 Pyroclasms. Think he's going to make any small changes or probably leave it the way it is?
Well, I think he boarded in the Pyroclasms because he saw Scullers. I don't see him doing much different here, to be totally honest.
Okay.
I would say Jarrett's hand was not very good that game. He was on a 6-card hand on the draw, and he got disrupted so hard. I think when he's on the play, and if he gets to keep a full 7, I think the game's much easier for him.
All right. I could definitely see that being a good case there. So Robert's doing a lot of shuffling. He's looks like he's got a fan out there saying, "Good luck, Robert. Come on, man." He's like, "Yeah, I know. I get it all the time. I love that you play 1 Hallowed Fountain." He's like, yeah. No big deal.
Tundras are expensive.
Tundras are overrated. All right, and Jared's pretty much doing the same thing. So you can tell these guys are definitely enjoying themselves. They're all the way in top 4.
Well, they're already, you're in that bracket where, sure, you want to win the tournament, but, finishing top 4 at one of these is pretty nice, too.
Yeah, it is. It's a big chunk of money, a lot of Star City Invitational points, and, of course, the qualification, which is pretty much the most important thing if you want to go on and try to, play for that $10,000. Not only $10,000, $50,000. But
Absolutely.
first place is $10,000, which is really nice. All right, so Jarrett will be on the play. Probably another 30 seconds or so of shuffling, and they'll be off to the races.
All right.
Jarrett was the 3rd seed. Robert was the 2nd seed. Both players will be on the play in the finals no matter what happens. Unless Elijah Herr wins, because Elijah Herr was the number 1 seed, but he's down a game.
Right, he is down a game, so that means if he doesn't make it, then Robert Vaughan does get to have the play all the way throughout.
Or Jarrett, depending on who
yeah,
wins.
actually, you're absolutely right. The winner
Yeah.
of this will have the play.
All right, so some more shuffling, and that's it. Let's see their opening hands.
Openers. This is.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a turn 1.
Both Jarrett and Alex actually were the 2 undefeated players in the Swiss, the 3 and 4 seed. So both of them continuing have the chance of having an undefeated finals.
Yep.
Both Robert and Elijah did drop a match during the Swiss.
I see.
He's got an early Blood Moon. It's got.
Oh,
I think you have to
wow.
keep.
Yeah,
I think
you
Jarrett
definitely
handed a
keep.
He has a turn 2 Blood Moon.
Wait, does he? Does he have another land?
I think he has. Doesn't have. He only has 1 land.
I think he has Scalding Tarn, Lotus Petal.
He has a Ponder, so that'll be.
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, exactly. He could definitely get a land off the Ponder, most likely.
Yeah, Vaughan going to 6.
Yeah, I mean, an early Blood Moon. Maybe he boarded that Blood Moon just for game 3 because he knows he's gonna mind the play. Maybe Blood Moon on the draw is not that good.
Yeah, I mean the Blood Moon's only good when you stick it real early, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, if Robert didn't develop his board or only played say something like a Stoneforge Mystic, and doesn't have his planes, then sure, Blood Moon could be good at pretty much any time.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously you want to get it out as early as possible. I mean, Jarrett has the ability to get a turn 1 Blood Moon. Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, City of Traders.
Yeah, I don't. Well, he doesn't have one in his hand.
Oh, yeah, not in his hand,
Okay,
but
not
but
this game, but
but-
just in theory.
Yeah, in theory, yeah,
he
exactly.
definitely can.
Yeah.
This game, I think the earliest he can do it is turn 2, which is still plenty early.
Yeah, definitely. But then you have to be careful. Like, all right, does my opponent have a Spell Pierce for it?
Right, because you're spending a Lotus Petal to get that
Exactly.
speed, so it is a 2-for-1 if he counters it.
It's essentially risk versus reward right here. So that's it. Okay, so good luck to both players. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll see if hopefully Robert gets a 6 that he can keep here. And, all right, remember Boettcher is on 7.
Okay.
Looking for a legacy win. Just a week ago, made the finals in the Grand Prix DC.
Yeah, exactly.
Losing to Owen Turtenwald in the finals.
All right, so Jarrett will lead off with a Scalding Tarn.
Yeah, it looks like there's no Pierce in Vaughn's hand. He has a
Probably get a
Snapcaster
Volcanic
Mage.
Island here. Yep.
He has a Snapcaster Mage and a Tide Hollow Sculler, among other cards.
Okay. So Jarrett will do some shuffling. Is Robert hand kind of weak? What do you think?
Well, he has 2 non-basics. He could get Blood Mooned.
Okay.
If Jarrett makes the turn 2 Blood Moon, I don't think Robert will have the counter for it. He will have 1 uncracked fetch, so he'll get to have 1 land
Okay.
of a color of his choosing. So he can play some spells.
So he could go get a swamp, a plains, or an island.
Well, he'll only have a choice of 2 once.
Oh, yeah,
once,
depending on what he
depending
plays.
on which
that
fetch he
is true,
plays.
yeah. So there's a Ponder. Jarrett's looking for a land, not a land, land, Pyroclasm. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he has to have 2 of these.
Yeah, I mean, getting Spell Pierce and Misty Rainforest is fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to crack the fetch land, and...
Yeah, I mean, drawing Spell Pierce is fine, right?
So I think he wants the Spell Pierce because it's blue.
Yeah, and he has a Force
he has a
in hand,
Force
yeah.
and I don't believe he has another blue card with it.
And the Misty Rainforest is really good because the Misty Rainforest allows him to just go get basic island.
Yeah, because that if he doesn't make Blood Moon and it resolves, remember it will affect him
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah. All right. So Jarrett's gonna draw. He'll probably play Lotus Petal here.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
And plays Lotus Petal, passes turn. And Batterskull to draw for
Batterskull?
Robert. No help there. And Robert probably.
All right,
Oh, he does have a
oh,
1-drop.
No.
Okay.
What's the 1-drop? Is it a Ponder? Is it a Thoughtseize?
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find
so
out.
This is Marsh Flats cracking. He's going to get Underground
Underground
Sea.
Sea.
And what is it? It is
Duress.
Okay.
I think Jarrett has to.
Has to force? Okay.
Yeah,
if
he
Jarrett-
has to force
if
it.
Jarrett forces.
Yeah, he just has to.
If Jarrett forces, he just has the Blood Moon next turn.
Yeah, and I mean, Robert could be locked out of the game.
Now, the problem with this, if Jarrett opts for this line, he's going to lose to Force of Will.
Yes. Well, not necessarily lose to Force Will, but it's going to be bad.
It's going to be real bad. He'll be...
Yeah.
It'll be... Yeah, not lose, but close to it.
I don't think Jarrett's going to win if he doesn't go for it. Is he really not? Oh, wow.
He lets it happen.
He
Okay,
lets it happen.
This is a moment of truth situation.
I'm really surprised with this because Robert did mulligan.
Not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a turn 2 Blood Moon.
Okay, to be fair, resolving Sneak Attack also wins the game, right? He has to have 1 more land to do it.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
And then he gets to have Force backup when he goes for it.
That is also true because it's a Grizzlebrand. Okay, so Jarrett's line is not, too crazy.
No.
So if you're Robert, what do you take here? The Blood Moon, right?
Blood Moon.
You have to take the Blood
Take
Moon.
The Blood Moon. You can't, I mean, if he has the Lotus Petal in play, I
And-
assume he kept the land on top of his deck.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think I would have forced there.
Yeah, I think I would have forced there as well.
But, I mean, I have the benefit of also knowing that Robert doesn't have the Force
Yeah,
of Will.
that is true.
So, that's not entirely fair of me to say.
Okay, so there's a Misty Rainforest. Jarrett will pass the turn.
Thing is that now Jarrett's going to get scullered. The disruption doesn't stop here.
Yeah, I know, because Robert's going to go get basic planes now.
Yeah, so when Robert goes for the second disruption spell, Jarrett almost has to force it, and then he also has to top deck a land.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Right, so...
Oh, he's going to get a Tundra. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, well, there's not a Blood Moon in Jarrett's hand anymore.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he knows that Blood Moon's now in his deck. He knows there's a
Yes.
second one. He does play 2 copies of it. And getting a basic planes there isn't going to really hurt him that much.
No, I think this is right. He's supposed to go for that. Remember, he does have cards like Liliana that he has to be...
He also has
make
Trinity
sure he can
Nemesis,
cast.
but yeah, sure.
Yeah, his mana requirements are steep.
Okay.
He needs to cast cards like Sculler and Liliana and do things like cast 2 Spell Pierces.
I think all of a sudden Robert might actually be a huge favorite
I
here.
think Robert's a huge favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here comes Tide Holler Sculler. Jarrett's...
Yeah, if Jarrett forces here, it'll be acknowledging that he made a mistake.
Yeah, he just has to let it resolve.
Well, remember, he has a Pyroclasm as the top card of his deck.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so he's not going to
So-
sack the Misty Rainforest.
Right.
He's going to draw the card. So Robert's thinking, what do I want to take here? doing some quick math in his head, seeing, what could be the worst draw.
Jarrett keeps pointing out things that he thinks he should take. Yes, you should take Spell Pierce.
Probably shouldn't take Spell Pierce, but we'll
take Sneak Attack. That is the correct take.
Okay.
Jarrett's going to draw, and now I think he'll go straight for the Pyroclasm.
Sure. All right, so Jarrett will probably search up another Volcanic Island here.
Yeah.
Does not have to play around Wasteland. Robert does not have any in his deck.
I wonder whether he should have gotten a basic there, just in case he top decks a Blood Moon.
Yeah, I mean...
There's only one left. It's only playing to one card. I suppose having double blue, double red is playing to some other cards.
Yeah, exactly. Sneak attack or whatnot. Regardless.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean,
I'll buy it.
Yeah, theoretically it could be affected by like a show and tell or something, but...
And he takes back a Sneak Attack. But now the jig's up, Jarrett knows that there wasn't a Force of Will.
Okay, so now I believe Robert has to go Snapcaster Mage Duress.
Absolutely. Keep the pressure on.
There's
and
that Hollow Fountain.
There's 2 life for free. Yeah, and he's just going to go Snapcaster Duress.
Okay, so essentially...
Does Jarrett Spell Pierce? If you're Jarrett, do you Spell Pierce?
The Duress, or do you just force the Snapcaster? Maybe you just force the Snapcaster.
I'd Spell Pierce which one?
No, you can't Spell Pierce because you can't lose the Lotus Petal. You need the Lotus Petal around so he's able to place Sneak Attack next turn.
Soul Land.
No. I mean, if he draws a Soul Land, then he could just actually win this game out of nowhere. If he draws an Ancient Tomb or City of Traders, he's actually just winning this game.
I mean, if he draws a land, he's probably winning.
Oh, it's an Emerald Code.
Nope,
no,
that was not a land.
Yet.
All right.
Wow, just the Flooded Strands. Here comes True Name Nemesis. Oh, it was. So all of a sudden, Jarrett's actually probably a favorite to win this game. All he really needs is another land or two. Oh, there's a City of Traders. Okay.
He's asking if it resolves. Yeah. Yes, it does resolve.
City of Traders, Ponder,
City of Traders.
Wow.
So much mana.
Wow. I really thought Robert had this. All of a sudden, it looks really, really good for Jarrett.
Yes, I think Jarrett's going to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go. He's going to just make Sneak Attack this turn, right? I have to think he does.
He probably is going to do this. Not a real reason not to. There's City of Traders. And, there
boom,
it is.
Sneak attack. And on Robert.
With Emrakul and
some dismay.
Grizzlebrand in hand. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and Robert knows. He knows that there's a Grizzlebrand in hand. He doesn't know the other half of the story is that the whole team showed up.
No.
Well, Robert, when he fetched there, he did fetch himself down to 15.
You know what Robert needs to draw right now? It starts with an H, and it ends with a utility.
Humility.
Humility.
I think humility would be pretty good right now.
It would basically be probably game over.
It's close.
Yeah,
if it's not, it's very close.
He needs humility right here. Let's see. Jarrett with the shuffle. Robert's probably thinking one-time humility. If it's not humility, I think this is it. This might be it. You hear some noise in the background. They're all calling for it. Come on, humility.
Well, does he have? Is it an actual one-outer?
Yeah, one-outer right here. I mean, he could have like Ponder into it, Brainstorm into it. Creeping Tar Pit. And that should be it. Wow. Jarrett, I mean, I guess Jarrett knows his Sneak Attack, or Sneak Show deck really good.
Yeah, Robert doesn't know that he's dead. He knows it's close.
He
doesn't
shows
him both the monsters.
All right, well played by Jarrett.
Right, so
Jarrett could have went for the turn 1 Blood Moon, but then he thought it might have been...
Turn 2 Blood Moon.
Yeah, turn 2 Blood Moon, but he thought it was too risky, and instead it was a back and forth. But I mean, Robert had a lot of disruption. He had Duress, he had Snapcaster into Duress.